welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. But we have a very special edition today, as we are celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory, the glorious 6th of October war victory. And we have a special report on this occasion. Let's check out this report.
A meeting of the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces at the Strategic Command was held on Saturday. At the meeting, Sisi congratulated the Egyptian people and its sons from the armed forces on the occasion of the celebration of the anniversary of the October War victory. The meeting discussed several key topics related to the armed forces' role in safeguarding Egypt's national security across all strategic directions. It also addressed the current events unfolding in the region. At the conclusion of the meeting, Sisi expressed his appreciation to the armed forces for their efforts and sacrifices, ensuring that the nation's flag remains high and its people enjoy security and stability throughout the country. Earlier, he laid wreaths at the Unknown Soldier Memorial in Nasr City on Saturday, as well as the tombs of late Presidents Anwar Sadat and Gamal Abdel Nasser.
Welcome back, and on this special occasion we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Abdel, a journalist and political analyst. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Abdel, can you hear me, sir? Mr. Abdel, the celebration of the anniversary of the 6th of October war victory brings on many feelings of pride. How would you describe the atmosphere then when news of the victory broke out?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abdel, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Great. Sir, on the anniversary of celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory, how would you describe the feelings and pride of the people since when the war broke out in 1973? How would you describe the atmosphere then when news of the victory broke out?
The feeling of triumph and the surprise that made the feeling of belief in the previous years, that was before the victory, the great victory in October 6th, at the year of 1973. We have lived years of mixed feelings. Some of us felt despair. Few of us felt hope. And most of us were working in silence. Working in silence to achieve the great goal, the great victory. The plan was made carefully. One of the greatest war plans at all of the history of wars that is known for the whole world. All the military academies, all the military experts admitted that the war plan of the October 6th victory in the year of 1973 was made in the most surprising way. Surprising way to all of the intelligence agencies in the U.S., in the Zionist existence, in the European countries, that all of them were supporting the Zionist existence in unfair and unjust war against the Arabs and Egypt, in the heart of the Arabs and the region.
Indeed. Sir, putting an end to the state of no war, no peace, the Egyptian army had obviously managed to change the whole situation in the Middle East. Now, how would you describe the impact of this development?
Well, of course, there is no war can last forever, and also there is no peace can last forever. So that's why we need to make it clear that we have achieved a lot in that era of peace, but the enemy is still working on its own greeds. That's why we should be prepared at all times. Peace can only be won by war, by strength, by the power that defends the intention, the good intentions that Egypt has. The Egyptian leader is persistent to keep on the peace treaty. But right now, there is an assault by the Israelis against the Salah ad-Din corridor in Gaza Strip. We need to make it clear that we are ready for war as well as we are ready for peace to be maintained. We need peace to resume. We need to continue the feeling of sound and peace and serenity. We need to build our own country, and we need also to feel that the whole region is feeling the same. But right now, as we are witnessing an era of time that is filled with attacks against peace, with assaults against humanity, we need to make it clear that we did it once, and we can do it more, do it once and twice and even more, like Mr. President Abdel has declared a few years ago. The only way to keep the peace is to be ready for war.
Indeed. Sir, the war was won in no more than 6 hours, causing heavy losses among Israeli troops. How would you describe the reasons behind this speedy victory?
The slogan, Allahu Akbar, was the leading power to our own army, our own plan. I remember that slogan was chosen by one of the great leaders of the victory, General Sa'ad-Din al-Shadadi, who has chosen that slogan to lead the march towards victory. And it was coming out from the chest, from the hearts of the Egyptian soldiers. All of them were crying out loud that slogan, along with the power of science, the power of the army, the power of the weapon. And we need to remember that in the war of 6 October, our army was not as strong as the enemy's army, but we have achieved victory because we had the faith weapon. We had the weapon of faith, of believing in Allah.
Indeed.
Also, we have made it clear that we will never let go of our own rights to defend our own country and to restore our own lands in Sinai. And we have achieved that, whether with war or whether with peace. We have achieved, and we have accomplished the mission. And that's why the message is still on. We can never allow any power on earth to threaten our own lands or our own borders or even our own national security and international security borders.
Indeed.
And there is a difference between our strategic borders and our own national security borders that goes all longer and far from our own strategic borders.
Indeed. Sir, Mr. Abdel, how did such a speedy victory affect the morale of the military personnel here in Egypt?
Well, of course, we have felt that their plan has succeeded. And the enemy was taken totally by surprise. Despite any attempts through its spies here and there, we have achieved that total surprise, full surprise to the enemy's leadership and its own supporters in the US and in Europe and other powers. We have made it clear that we can achieve our own victory, and this is not the first victory we have achieved. The Egyptian army has been achieving victories. It was made to be victorious since more than 7,000 years. 7,000 years of victories. We only can achieve victory with the title of believing in Allah, with the power of the weapon and the power and the belief of the man, the soldier. That is why, this is the only reason we were called the best soldiers on earth. That is the only reason. Among all the Arabs, among all the nations all around the world, we were chosen to be the best soldiers on earth. We have the belief in Allah. And we have the power of the soldier that no other soldier can possess.
The Israelis spent 6 years fortifying their positions on the East Bank in what later came to be known as the Bar-Lev line. Now, how would you describe the fall of what had been described as but one proof of the myth of Israeli invincible army?
Well, of course, they were always taking the strategies that is covering up for their own deep weakness. If they are not hiding behind the walls of the strength of the weapon, they are hiding behind walls. If they are not hiding behind walls like Bar-Lev line, they are hiding within tanks. They can never face a man with this faith, with this strength of belief, face to face, ever. They can always run their wars from dark rooms, from behind the walls, like the Bar-Lev lines. This is the same strategy that still is going on right now. We have witnessed the resisting elements who has faced the Merkava tanks with their own chests, with their own naked chests. They have faced it and they have destroyed it. This is the same strategy that Egypt has created for the very first time in history. We were the first fighter that stand against the power of the tank. We have faced the power of iron with the strength, with the most strong, the strongest power of the man. The man is made of steel, the Egyptian soldier.
Indeed. Mr. Abdel, how would you describe the general atmosphere in Egypt through the years from 1967 setback to the 1973 war victory?
Well, I can divide that scene into two kinds, or two levels. On the public level, people were feeling, most of them were just feeling defeated. Some of them were feeling that hope is coming, and we can never lose hope. Between this and that, we have lived one of the darkest times that Egypt has lived in all of its history. On the higher level, on the level of the leadership, the military leadership, and the martyr field general Muhammad Anwar al-Sadat, may peace be upon him, and before him the great leader Gamal Abdel Nasser, who made the plan in silence, the granite plan. That plan was made to achieve victory whatsoever. We were going to fight that war whatsoever, whatever the cost that can be that can be an answer to this action. We have restored our own honor, despite we didn't restore most of the land that we have lost in the war of June 5th, 1967. We have lost Jerusalem. We have lost the Syrian Golan, and and Gaza Strip was our under administration, but we have started the greatest step to make it clear that we can achieve victory. Only if we can have the same measures that each and every student in its school, in its university, in each and every book in the cultural field is making it clear that this enemy can never be but an enemy forever, and it's a battle of existence. That's why I'm saying this. There is no peace can last forever, as well as no war can last forever. The enemy will never give up its own greed in our own land, and we have created the poison in our territory with Israel, and they are meaning to build another Israel, which is they call it in their devious agenda. They call it bigger Israel. We can only Egypt can be the rock that their dreams and their vicious plans will be demolished upon it.
Indeed. Sir, commentators in Egypt following the war said the bravery of Egyptian men and Egyptian soldiers offset shortage of weaponry equipment. How do you agree? How far do you agree on that?
I believe this is not new for the Egyptian military. The great leaders of the world have said the same meaning about our own soldiers. Napoleon, the British military leaders, the Russians, the Germans, all the leaders, all the military leaders of the world appreciate faithfully and truly in the power, the hidden power in the Egyptian soldier. He has something that no soldier on earth possesses: the power of belief and the power of defending its own honor, its own land, as a piece of his own flesh and blood. We don't feel that like any other army on earth when we are initiated as warriors, when we are activated as warriors. We live in peace. We have been living in peace and for thousands of years. We have never meant to assault any neighbor around us. We have never meant to take lands that we don't have the right in. But we only protected our own national security. Indeed. With our own national security borders to protect our own land. That's all. That's why all of the nations around us believe in the Egyptian army and believe in the Egyptian and believe in the leadership of the Egyptian army.
How fruitful, sir, was the Arab cooperation during and after and before the war?
The world respects the strength. When we have raised our weapons to take a chance, to take a step toward achieving that holy war, all the nations around us have gathered around our own weapon, our own march, our own target. The world always respects the power, especially the reasonable power, and the power that protects, the power that preserves the human rights of land, of honor. And that's why they have respected our own strength and gathered around us. We have, of course, we were supported by our neighbors in the Arabic region, but the leading Egyptian power was the main subject here, the main target here, the main flag that gathered all the Arabs around us. And this is the lesson that the Arabs should learn right now. We need to have our own national Arabic army led by the Egyptian army. This is the only way to protect our own lands. This is the only way, because I said it and I say it again, the enemy will never stop despite any peace treaty. We have a peace treaty and we respect it, but he doesn't. He's surrounding around it and circling like vultures in the skies of the region.
Indeed. I would like to thank you.
The nations in Syria, in Lebanon, in Palestine, and deliberately.
Indeed, Mr. Abdurrahman, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, thank you so much.
That will be broken upon our own rock.
Well, I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, journalist and political analyst. Many thanks for your insights, sir. And dear viewers, now we move on to this report. Egyptians celebrate the anniversary of the October War victory over the Israelis in 1973. The war was behind restoration of 15 kilometers of Sinai land, while the Israeli forces were forced to retreat. More details.
The October War between the coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria and the Israelis started with a sudden attack on Israeli positions on Yom Kippur on October 6, 1973. After the defeat in the Six-Day War in 1967, in which the Israelis captured the Sinai Peninsula, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights, the Egyptian forces launched its force 6 years later, on October 6, 1973, at 2 p.m. Cairo time, against the Israeli troops and restored 15 kilometers of Sinai land. The Israeli forces were forced to retreat to the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, Syrian troops waged the war near the Golan Heights against the Israeli troops. The rest of the peninsula was recovered through a peace treaty signed in 1979, except for Taba that Egypt retrieved by international arbitration in 1988. The Israeli withdrawal from Sinai occurred in stages that ended in 1982.
Welcome back and see with our special reports celebrating the 51st anniversary of the October War victory. Egypt armed forces are in constant advancement of their equipment and training on all fronts. In the aftermath of the 1967 Six-Day War, air defense became a separate branch of the armed forces, and the 1973 October War, air defense shot down 325 enemy aircraft.
Commander of the Egyptian Air Defense Forces, Major General Yasser Mohammed Kamal al-Tudi, said the air defense will forever remain an invincible strong bastion against whomsoever might be tempted to violate Egypt's airspace. In the aftermath of the 1967 Six-Day War, President Gamal Abdel Nasser issued a decree on February 1, 1968 to form the Air Defense Forces as a separate branch of the armed forces. History books record that on June 13, 1970, Egyptian air defense missiles downed 2 Israeli Phantom fighter jets and 2 Douglas A-4 Skyhawk warplanes, taking 3 pilots hostage. Officials say the education and training process of the air defense personnel has been enhanced to ensure that combat personnel are appropriately qualified and possess the necessary scientific and training skills to keep up with the advanced technology used in equipment manufacturing.
Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this special edition of Africa Today as we're celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October glorious war victory. Many thanks for watching. This is Naveen Ramzi signing off.